fun.
You just played 9 holes with Nelly, as we've seen. What does it mean for women's sports, for two of the biggest stars to come together in this sort of environment? How important is that?
I think it just shows how powerful, supporting one another can truly be. And, I've always been a big advocate of that and supporting women's sports, and always been a big fan, whether it's golf or soccer or volleyball, whatever it is. So it's really fun to just see her do her craft up close and how good she is, and, getting to play with her last year, and I played a few other rounds with her. So she just makes the game of golf look really easy. So you're almost like, how? But, she's great, and, I'm rooting for her to win this week.
Caitlin Clark just sat down with Golf Channel, and she said some things that nobody saw coming. No filter, no PR answers, just straight talk about her game, her injuries, and what she really thinks about women's sports right now. The interview dropped, and people can't stop talking about what she revealed. This one's different. Who do you think is the most unfiltered athlete in sports right now? Let us know in the comments. Caitlin Clark doesn't do boring interviews. That's just not her style. So when Golf Channel caught up with her at the Pelican Golf Club for the Annika Pro-Am, you knew something good was coming. And boy, did she deliver. From calling herself and her teammates out for being not very good at golf to casually dropping that she's been battling injuries all year, Clark gave us the kind of interview that reminds everyone why she's become such a massive star. She's real, she's funny, and she doesn't pretend to be something she's not.
Got the basketball court down there. Down we go again to Tom Abbott.
Yeah, here with Caitlin Clark, who absolutely ripped one down there, number 10. But I've got to ask you first about your teammates' performance there.
Yeah, I'm proud of them. That's nerve-wracking, getting up in front of a bunch of people and having to hit a golf club. Obviously, we're basketball players, so we're not very good at this, but they make this event fun, so it's fun to have them out here.
Let's start with the absolute best part, her roasting her own teammates. When asked about Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull's performance on the course, Caitlin didn't sugarcoat anything. "We're basketball players, so we're not very good at this," she said with a straight face. No fake hype. No, "oh, they did amazing" nonsense. Just honest truth delivered with a smile. And that's classic Caitlin Clark, confident enough to acknowledge limitations while still showing love to her people. She followed it up by saying she's proud of them for getting up in front of a crowd, which is fair because standing on a golf course swinging clubs in front of strangers is nerve-wracking when you're used to selling out arenas. But the interviewer wasn't letting her off easy. They pivoted straight into asking about the WNBA's collective bargaining negotiations, and you could almost feel Caitlin's internal groan. She wanted to talk golf. The interviewer wanted drama. Classic media move. But instead of taking the bait or giving some cookie-cutter no comment, she smoothly redirected back to golf and her journey with the sport. That's media training at its finest, folks. She didn't shut down rudely, didn't create a headline, just kept it moving. Smart.
And what has it been like for you today? Second time here at Pelican.
Yeah, I think it was warming up the first 9 holes, but it's always cool to be out here, and they put on a great event, and Gamebridge does a great job, and it was fun to play with Nelly and now playing with Lauren. So anytime you get to be out in the sun and in Florida and in front of really cool fans, it makes for a great day.
To golf. So let's talk about your golf and your golf journey. Where did it start and how is it progressing?
Yeah, I actually grew up playing a little bit. I remember for one of my birthdays, I got this cute little set of pink golf clubs. They obviously weren't very nice or anything, and then kind of stopped playing. And then during COVID, I picked it back up in college. I had quite a few guy managers that played and some of my teammates, so we would make it competitive. None of us were really that good, but it was really fun for us to play with each other in the summers or whenever we had some free time.
So let's talk about her golf journey because it's actually kind of hilarious. Caitlin grew up playing a little bit, and for one of her birthdays, she got a set of Nike golf clubs. But here's the kicker. She made sure to clarify they weren't nice or anything. Like, she could have just said she got clubs and moved on, but no. She had to let everyone know they were basic. That's the kind of unnecessary honesty that makes her interviews gold. She's not trying to paint some picture of being a golf prodigy. She's just a kid who got some clubs, played a bit, then quit. Then COVID happened. And like millions of other people stuck at home with nothing to do, Caitlin picked golf back up. But she didn't pick it up to zen out or find inner peace or whatever people claim golf does for them. She picked it up because her Iowa teammates wanted to make it competitive. "None of us are that good," she admitted. "But it was fun for us to play in the summer or whenever we had free time." That's so perfectly on brand for Caitlin. Even recreational activities have to have a competitive edge. You just know those Iowa golf outings were full of trash talk and side bets.
I know it's been a tough year in terms of injury for you. Does that mean you've played a little bit more golf this year?
Unfortunately, it means I've played less, just because I haven't been able to get out there with some of the injuries that I was dealing with. But now feeling back to 100%. So been trying to take advantage of the fall weather in Indianapolis before, it gets too cold. And obviously being down here in Florida, the weather makes it pretty easy to play some golf. But getting in as much as I can. Obviously, I stay pretty busy, so I don't get to play as much as I would like.
Now here's where things got real. The interviewer asked if the tough injury year meant she played more golf, and Caitlin shut that down immediately. It means I've played less because I haven't been able to get out with the injuries I was dealing with. Hold up. This is the first time she's really opened up about how bad the injuries were. Everyone knew she was dealing with something. You could see it in how she moved late in the season. But she's been relatively quiet about specifics. Hearing her say outright that injuries kept her off the golf course is significant because it confirms what fans suspected. Her rookie year was physically brutal, but then she dropped the good news, now feeling 100%. That's what Fever fans needed to hear. After a season where she carried that team on her back while clearly dealing with some physical issues, knowing she's healthy going into the offseason is massive. And apparently, she's been taking full advantage of the fall weather in Indianapolis, trying to get in as much golf as possible before winter hits. Although she admitted Florida's weather makes it way easier to play, which, duh. Nobody wants to golf in Indiana in December.
You just played 9 holes with Nelly, as we've seen. What does it mean for women's sports, for two of the biggest stars to come together in this sort of environment? How important is that?
I think it just shows how powerful, supporting one another can truly be. And, I've always been a big advocate of that and supporting women's sports and always been a big fan, whether it's golf or soccer or volleyball, whatever it is. So it's really fun to just see her do her craft up close and how good she is, and getting to play with her last year, and I played a few other rounds with her, so she just makes the game of golf look really easy. So you're almost like, how? But she's great, and
The interviewer kept pushing, asking about her experience playing with Nelly Korda. And this is where Caitlin got genuinely thoughtful. She talked about how powerful it is for women in different sports to support each other. I've always been an advocate of supporting women's sports, golf, or soccer, or volleyball, whatever it is. That's not just lip service either. Caitlin has consistently shown up for other female athletes, shouted them out on social media, and used her platform to elevate women's sports across the board. She's not just talking about it, she's living it. But the best part was when she talked about watching Nelly golf up close. She makes the game of golf look really easy. You're almost like how, but she's great. That "you're almost like how" is such a perfect, genuine reaction. Caitlin's competitive as hell, so watching someone be that effortlessly good at their sport probably blows her mind. She knows what elite looks like because she is elite, and seeing Nelly casually do things on a golf course that seem impossible must be wild. And she ended it with, "I'm rooting for her to win this week," which is just pure class.
It's on your golf swing. You've been working a little bit with Jamie Mulligan, I saw back there. What are you struggling with?
Well, I'm slicing it off the tee, but that was honestly probably my best drive of the day, so I'm happy with it. Just need to slow down. I swing so fast and so hard. That's my problem. I always want to kill the ball, but honestly, I've hit some good iron shots and had some good putts. I need a long putt to go in so the crowd can go crazy. I think they're waiting for that.
I agree. We need to get some energy in this crowd.
Pressure. I'll try to deliver. I'll do my best.
Let's see you knock it in here close and make the putt.
Then came the technical golf talk, and this is where Caitlin's personality really shined. When asked about her swing and what she's struggling with, she didn't hold back. "I'm slicing it off the tee, but that was probably my best drive of the day." Translation: her best drive still wasn't great, but at least it wasn't as embarrassing as the others. She knows her problem too. She swings too fast and too hard because she always wants to kill the ball. That's the most basketball player answer ever, finesse? Never heard of her. Just grip it and rip it and hope for the best. She did give herself some credit for hitting good iron shots and putts, but then immediately said she needs a long putt to go in so the crowd can go crazy. Even on a golf course, she's thinking about the crowd, about creating moments. That's performer mentality. That's someone who understands that sports are entertainment and people want to see something exciting. She could have played it safe, but no. She wants to sink a ridiculous putt just to hear the reaction. That's showmanship. Now let's talk about what she didn't say, because sometimes that's just as important. The interviewer tried to steer into WNBA collective bargaining territory, and Caitlin completely avoided it. Not in a suspicious way, but in a "I'm not getting into that right now" way. And honestly, smart move. CBA. Negotiations are messy, complicated, and anything she says could get twisted into a headline she doesn't want. She's already under enough scrutiny without adding fuel to an off-season fire. By keeping the focus on golf, she controlled the narrative and stayed out of potential controversy. But here's the thing about that avoidance. It shows maturity. A younger, less media-savvy athlete might have taken the bait, said something that could be interpreted a dozen different ways, and then spent the next week doing damage control. Caitlin's been through enough media circuses to know when to engage and when to redirect. That's growth. That's learning. That's understanding that not every question deserves an answer. What's also interesting is how comfortable she is acknowledging imperfection. She's the face of women's basketball right now, bringing in viewers and attention like nobody else. She could easily front like she's good at everything, create this perfect image. Instead, she's out here admitting she's not great at golf, that her drives are slicing, that her teammates aren't exactly crushing it either. That vulnerability is part of why people connect with her. She's not trying to be superhuman. She's just trying to be really good at basketball and decent at everything else. The injury admission is particularly significant because Caitlin's always been the tough-it-out type. She plays through contact, takes hits, and keeps going. For her to acknowledge that injuries kept her from doing something she enjoys means they were probably worse than most people realized. Rookie seasons in the WNBA are notoriously physical, and every opponent was gunning for her all year. The fact that she finished the season at all, let alone putting up the numbers she did, is impressive. Now, hearing she's fully healthy, that should terrify the rest of the league. Let's also appreciate how she talks about her teammates. Even when she's being brutally honest about their golf skills, there's affection there. She's proud of them for trying. She thinks they make the event fun. She brought them along because she wanted them there, not because it was required. That's team culture in action. That's a leader who lifts others up even when making jokes at their expense. Sophie and Lexi probably loved that she called them out on national television because they know it comes from a place of genuine friendship. The Nelly Korda stuff is also worth unpacking because it highlights something important about Caitlin's approach to her platform. She doesn't just say she supports women's sports. She actively engages with athletes in other sports, learns about their crafts, and uses her massive following to shine light on them. Playing golf with Nelly isn't just a fun outing. It's two of the biggest names in women's sports creating content, generating buzz, and showing fans that women athletes support each other across sports. That cross-sport collaboration is powerful, and Caitlin gets it. But underneath all the golf talk and teammate roasting, there's a subtle message. Caitlin Clark is in control. She's managing her recovery, enjoying her off-season, building relationships across sports, and keeping her focus where it needs to be. She's not getting caught up in drama or controversy. She's not letting media bait her into saying something she'll regret. She's just being herself, competitive, honest, funny, and grounded. And that's exactly why she's become such a phenomenon. The interview also showed how comfortable she's become with fame. Last year at this event, she was still relatively new to this level of attention. Now, she's cracking jokes, working the crowd, casually mentioning playing multiple rounds with one of the best golfers in the world. Like it's no big deal. She's grown into her star status without losing what made her relatable in the first place. That's rare. Most athletes either get overwhelmed by fame or let it change them. Caitlin's just rolling with it. And let's be honest, the "I swing so fast and hard" comment is perfect. Of course she does. That's her personality on a basketball court too. Aggressive, attacking, pedal to the metal. She doesn't know how to do anything halfway. Even in a recreational sport, she's going at it with maximum effort. You can take the competitor off the basketball court, but you can't take the competitor out of the person. Golf is probably low-key frustrating for her because you can't just overpower it. You need touch, feel, patience. Not exactly Caitlin's strongest attributes. The interview wrapped with her talking about wanting a long putt to drop, so the crowd could go wild. And that perfectly encapsulates who she is. She's not just playing golf for herself. She's thinking about the fans, about creating moments, about entertainment. That's superstar mentality. That's understanding that your job isn't just to perform. It's to create experiences people remember. Whether it's draining a logo 3 or sinking an impossible putt, she wants to give people something to cheer about. What makes this interview so good is that it wasn't trying to be anything it wasn't. No manufactured drama, no clickbait moments. Just Caitlin being Caitlin, honest, funny, competitive, and real. In an era where everything feels calculated and pre-approved by PR teams, that authenticity stands out. She's not reading from a script, she's just talking. And somehow that's more compelling than anything manufactured could ever be. So yeah, Caitlin Clark just reminded everyone why she's must-watch material, whether she's on a basketball court or a golf course. No filter, all honesty, and the kind of personality you can't fake. If you're here for unfiltered athlete content that doesn't waste your time, hit that like and subscribe. Which sport should Caitlin try next?